Good afternoon. Welcome to the educational session ENDOFEST 2021 Part 2. And annually we have the educational session with the English language. The language of the session is English, but we have the simultaneous translation today. So I want to introduce the co-director of this session, Rostislav Pavlov from St. Petersburg, and two other speakers, Katerina Kolokolnikova and Rimma Bolotova. They have a beautiful presentation for you today about the soft skills and other skills every doctor have to have. And I would like to give a word to my co-director and then to other speakers, and we will start with presentations.
Thank you so much. Dear colleagues, dear participants, I'm very glad to take part in this section. It's very good that all the participants, all the guys come and we have a very good speakers, presenters, and have a good day. And I think it's very good. You can implement all the knowledge what you get in this section.
Please, Rimma, a few words to welcome our participants.
Yeah, thanks so much for. I'm deeply honored to be here, and thanks so much, Seda, for inviting me. And of course, I want to say, take your time and enjoy all this, I think, fresh knowledge and from freshmen. Yeah, thank you.
Hello, dear colleagues. Dear colleagues, it's really nice to see you all here. And I'm also really honored. Thanks for an invitation. And I'm really surprised with the topics you've chosen for this session. So I also hope you will all enjoy the live session with our in English. So let's probably start.
Of course, let's get started. And just a few words about our previous educational session, annual educational session during ENDOFEST. It's really an opportunity for the young doctors, for every doctor to improve yourself. So we're going to start with the presentation about how to make a presentation. And I will start the session when I will give a word to other speakers. So I want to see my presentation on the monitors, please. So this presentation is about how to make a presentation and speech. So you decided to give a talk at the conference. Well, sometimes that happens to all of us. But think first. First thing you need to do is to decide what for. To tell about your new invention, new approach, maybe new algorithm, or to share your scientific data. But all of these remained in the past century, in the century of oral communications. Today, in our modern life, we have much more faster ways to share and spread information, like professional groups, professional websites, social media, and other platforms to share information to much more audience than, for example, we have in this room. So when should you go and speak? Only when you really want to make a speech. When you're really ready to use all the possibilities of the personal contact with the audience to send a message, and you really know what your message is about. So today I will tell you about the art of presentation and public speech using the power of a word. But first, 30 million PowerPoint users are all over the world. 30 million of them create presentation every day. Approximately 1 million of them are being presented right now, and most of them here in Skolkovo today. But 50% of them are really absolutely intolerable. Many people execute each other with the bad presentations every day, unintentionally, but regularly. So how to make a presentation which gonna be an effective one and get into the remaining 50%? And what is a presentation that you are not ashamed of? Actually, it's a theater or a stand-up comedy where you should entertain the audience from the scene with your voice, with your gestures, with your mimics and facial expression. It's a popular science show where visitors expect that you will explain the unfamiliar areas to them. It's a movie or animation that you will create and bring with you. And visual part is very important. And it's a coliseum because you run the risk that the smart and unexpected questions from your opponents will tear your reputation in front of the happy audience with the popcorn. So you must be sure that you can perfectly visualize the ideas, speak confidently and clearly, maintain attention of the audience, and entertain the listeners. However, the road to success is much more difficult and is composed of much more steps. From the understanding of the type of presentation, understanding its structure, presenting information, from knowing the material that you're gonna share with your audience. It's about how to overcome excitement and fear, how to set the priorities, how to be compliant with the timing. It's the knowledge of nonverbal communication, practice, and of course, it's about how to conclude correctly your presentation. So let's go through all of these steps today. So we decided to make a presentation. And the first thing we need to do is to understand the type of presentation. Understanding the type of presentation, we can roughly understand its volume. So it's really not much types of presentation. It's a lecture, like a state-of-the-art scientific report and video presentation or case report. So if we're talking about the lecture or state-of-the-art, it usually no more than 20, 30 minutes. Scientific reports is about 10 or 50 minutes. And video presentation or case report, it's about 5-7 minutes. And you can see the video presentation on the last day of ENDOFEST. During the video session, you will see that each of them are no longer than 6 minutes. So the next step is understanding the structure. When structuring a presentation, we have 3 main questions: how to start, how to present the main idea, and how to finish. And these 3 questions correspond to the 3 main parts of any presentation. It's introduction, the main part, and conclusion. And if we will characterize each of them, then the introduction should be strong, striking, and vigorous. So you can start with the image, with a famous quote, with the videos. So when you go to the scene and start to entertain with the audience, you should start strong. You should have an attention of the audience after the speakers when the audience was really sleeping. So then when we talk about the main part, it should be informative. And this information should be easy to perceive for the audience. And you should maintain the audience attentions with the visuals. If we talk about conclusion, it should be motivating and it should provoke thoughts to your audience and better goals. So your audience would go through and leave the conference hall should leave it with a goal, with a new one. But this is not the end. All 3 parts should be connecting by the logical transitions, because presentation is not a structure, it's a story, and people love stories. So we understand the format, we already have a structure. In fact, we're ready to create. Now we need a presentation template. So what do you think about template? What are the current requirements? And do we really have any requirements? Yes, we have. And these are Simple color scheme, also known as black on white. As a minimum of fonts, it's better to use just one during your presentation on all slides. It's a large print. It should be really readable for your audience. It should be minimum text. You can use bullets. And of course, you should think about the text balance on the slide. It's a lack of the background. Usually, if we are talking about the modern presentation, no pictures of the hospital on the backgrounds, emblems, and so on. It's usually take all the attention of the audience. And it's really hard to perceive the main idea of your presentation. And visual associations, they are really important. One is the pictures, videos, animation, and everything which will entertain your audience and which will improve the perception of the information. So let's go through all of these requirements. And the first one is a simple color scheme. It's a rule of black on white, like here. So it's really not white on a black. And it's not green on a blue. And it's not white on the red. And not like this with the whole rainbow, or like this, and not any sunrises on the back of the slides. And we're talking about readable print. So it really should be readable, not like this one, not like this one, and even not like this, because it's really hard to read anything on this slide. If we are talking about the fonts, it should be minimal fonts. Use just one, pick up one font and use this font on all of the slides on your presentation. Not like this. It's here, we can see the 4 fonts on one slide. It's difficult to perceive. If we are talking about the text, it should be minimum text on the slide. So do not create a slide element. Slide element is a combination of the slide and a document. People do not want to read the documents when they are attending a conference or a session. They want to get the important information from you, a message. So this is not a message. And this is a slide element too. Or this one. So if you have a lot of information, just divide slide into 2. It's for free. And every time when we have a scientific report or share scientific data, it's difficult to share this information with the audience. And for audience, for participants which are seeing your presentation for the first time or your scientific data, it's even very difficult to understand what you are talking about. So if you have a statistical data, just pick up the most important numbers, or like here. So please highlight the important numbers, 2 or 3. It's gonna be very, very easy to perceive by the audience. Or just, you can use just 4, 3, or 5 statistical data on your slide so that the audience should understand what you are talking about. So the text ratio on the slide is an important thing too. So do not do like this. If you have a words, just it should be on the one line, not like here. Or here we can see a lot of text in the different boxes. It's really hard to understand for visual perception. And the image ratio on the slide is an important thing too. So a person better perceives images of the same size, more or less symmetrical, not like this, or like this, or like this, or like this one. So we'll stop criticizing slides and we'll go to the next step, is a knowledge of the material or topic. Try to speak only on the topics that you are good at. Excellent knowledge of the material is essential. Be an expert in your subject. Do not forget that the content of your presentation must correspond to the declared title. And what do you think is the biggest problem for all presenters? Of course, it's compliance with the timing. It's problem at every session that I usually attend. So here is an internal problem for all times and people. Remember that you simply do not have any right to make a presentation longer than the time stated in the program. So compliance with the timing is a respect to your colleagues. So, and to be compliant with the timing, you should know how to set the priorities. We understood what information we want to share with the audience, but how to do that, how to set the priorities. Usually my best advice is to make a presentation. Let's say it's 100% of slides, and then do 80%. So just delete 10 slides or 5 slides, depending on what the type of presentation, like it's lecture or scientific reports. You will have some time for the technical problems, for the problems with your laptop or technicians, or with the visuals, like your video doesn't run or something like this. So you will be calm because you know that you have 5 minutes left for all of these problems. So if you can't delete your slides, it's really difficult to do. When you create a presentation, you like it, you love your presentation, you can't delete anything. Just ask your colleague. They usually do it very fast. So the key is to create a really good presentation as a briefness and internal logic. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. It's a famous quote. So the rule is the brevity as the soul of wit. So visualization helps people to perceive an information and everything that will keep the audience in attention throughout the whole presentation as a visuals, images, videos, quotes, animations, and other things you can put in your presentation to get the attention of the audience during the whole presentation you do. So do not repeat what is written on the slides. People can read text on the slides, so you will be useless. But I want you to know that actually it's you, not the slides, not video content, not a screenshot are the center of attention. In fact, the main value of the conference is not the presentation itself, it's communication. It's communication with the speaker. And usually people spend time, effort, travel to another city for communication like we have today. So keep attention, control, and maintain audience perception. So do not sleep. Ask questions for understanding and verify that you did not lost any of those who are sitting in the room. But I want you, so the public speech, yes. And actually the main problem of the public speech is a fear. So when you are a center of attention, it's always about the fear. It's one of the most serious problems for most of the speakers. So fear kills everything. The pleasure of the speaking, the impression, it kills the confidence and does not allow us to get the result that we would like. So here are the clues how to overcome the fear to present. It's about the knowledge of your topic, as I said before. So when you know your topic very well, fear is always less. So it's about the auto training. So you need to calm yourself, of course, and you need to think about that the world does not turn around you. So people come usually to take the information that they don't think about how you present. So keep calm, and you should be confident and speak loudly, clearly, and everything is going to be okay. So don't be late, come early, check everything twice according to the technical part, come down and don't be in a rush. When you are in a rush, when you have no time to check your presentation, it's always a fear. So do not try to overcome the fear, actually. The action itself usually stop it. Usually it's 5 minutes about the fear, and then you can calm yourself and speak slowly and present. So the theory of the 10,000 hours. I think everyone here know about this theory. So practice, of course, is the key to success. The theory says that if you want to learn something well enough, you should devote at least 10,000 hours to train this. Therefore, prepared speech is always better than spontaneous speech or improvisation. So writing your notes on a piece of paper kills the presentation. So this is the theory of 10,000 hours, and train yourself and think about nonverbal communication. So it's the language of gestures, or the rule of 7, 38, and 55. It's 7% words, 38% of tone, and 55% of gestures. This is the rule which saying that in this percent, the usual people perceive the information. Only 7% of words, 38% of tone, and 55% of gestures. So nonverbal communication, 83% of perception by the audience. So the next rule is to make yourself comfortable. So be comfortable with your suite, with your shoes, how you look like. You should be really comfortable during your presentation. And what is the most interesting part of the performance? What do you think, guys? Of course, question answer part is the most interesting thing, because it shows the understanding of your presentation by the audience. It reveals the unexpected, usually weak, but sometimes not, places of the technology or study or work design. And it shows the speaker's competence or lack of it. So this is the take-home message, 10 most common mistakes. Of course, first one is a poor presentation quality. It's insufficient preparation, ignorance of the audience. It's excessive information in a short time when you should speak very, very, very quickly. And you would like to tell everything you know just in 10 minutes. This is a bad idea, actually. So set the priorities. Lack of the disclosure of the topic, non-compliance with the timing. It's really, really bad thing to do. And inoperative equipment or technology, incorrect or unacceptable dress code, and lack of contact with the audience, also known as telling to yourself. And of course, it's excitement and fear that we should overcome. So my last advice for today is, if you want to present well, you should present. Thank you so much. This is the end of my presentation. If you have any question, it's a great pleasure for me to answer.
Thank you so much. Seda, it's a very great presentation. I consider that if I listened to this presentation before, I changed my presentation today. Okay, do we have any
so
question?
No chance for that.
Yeah,
I have the first one.
Yeah. Any question?
I have some words. Could I? Yeah.
Of course.
I think I want to repeat the words of Rostislav about it was really outstanding presentation, speech. I think it's a really fundamental date for researchers, for students, and for doctors who want to speak and who want to be well known in our society. And of course, your speech, I think, has set on the right direction our mind wave. And I have one question. Could you say, please, maybe have some tips and tricks how to start? Because it's really my problem. I'm a great procrastinator. Yeah, and maybe have some tips how to start your presentation.
What do you mean by start? How to motivate yourself, or how to start the presentation itself, like creating slides?
Yeah. The second part. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I think Rimma wanted to ask how to start performance, like talking in public.
Can I sit on my chair? I'll continue here. So I really think that the first slides I said that if you want to present, first thing you need to do is you should want to present. So the people or the now doctors, we're talking about doctors who make a presentation should be a person who wants to go on the scene and present. As I said, we have a lot of different ways for sharing information today, like professional groups, websites where we can text or put our video cases or everything. We have a lot of in our surgical society, a lot of professional groups, and of course, social media for that. So today, in the era of the social media, for example, or online learning,
Definitely, yeah.
to go to the scene, to the podium, and to present, you really have to want it. So if you want to present, then you should, of course, have problems with the fear, with the setting of priorities, with the timing, and so on. And I guess that the problem of the bad presentation is that we have the bad examples actually during the conferences. So please note the speakers who present really good, how they make a presentation, how they speak. We have a lot of TED Talks on the YouTube. We have a lot of possibilities today. Like if we are talking about 10 or 15 years ago, we do not have these possibilities to watch the great presenters like today. So please watch them, motivate yourself, and no one will tell you, so go and present today. So you need to have this idea inside of you, this goal inside of you. And I hope that many participants in this audience will leave this conference hall with a goal to go and present and make really good presentations. Make it simple. Actually, the clue to success is make the presentation simple and short.
And they have some example for you. Who is the best? Who is a great presenter? Who's the best speaker?
Actually, a lot of people on YouTube, TED Talks are the great presenters, which motivated me many years ago to like 10 years ago, maybe to present. But if I talk about
Russian area, maybe.
In Russian area, it's really hard to name. Like I think the great presenters we had during in the Congress Hall today during endoscopy session, really great one with a beautiful presentation. Everyone there were admired by them. So, and during surgical session as well, I think that Rostislav can say that he attended the gastric surgery session.
Yeah.
We had the Sergei Baido and other speakers who are really, really, really good at presentations.
Thank you so much.
So welcome. And I want to introduce our next speaker, Rostislav, who'll go to the stage.
We have a question from audience.
Sure.
Yeah.
How many times to practice at home, or if you want to present, you should go and present. Do not wait for a moment when you are excellent. It's never going to be like this. So you should present one time, second time, and many, many, many times to become excellent.
Like
so
10,000 hours.
Like I said, do not wait for a best moment in your life. So I will train myself, then I go to present. No, it's never happened like this. It doesn't work. So you go and present. Then you, I will advise you to record your presentation, or just someone to record if the surgical conference do not have this technical possibility to record and for you to watch afterwards. So ask your colleague to record. For many years, I recorded my presentations and then I watched them. And when I just text all my mistakes, and I was working on my mistakes. So improve yourself with each presentation. You should work on your mistakes. Like maybe 10 years ago, my speech was very, very fast, and it's really bad for perception for the audience. So I try to train myself to speak slowly, clearly, and to shorten my presentation. And my presentation was longer. Really, it's a lot of slides for a short time, like 10 minutes, and you speak faster, fluently. And it makes the perception of presentation really bad for the audience. So these was my main mistakes maybe, but I can say that if I'm talking about me, I think my colleagues would share their experience. I love to present from the first time, from the 50, 60 years. I love to present and talk to the audience and to communicate with people. So this is maybe the internal, my internal feelings or skills. But if you would like to present, it's always a great to come to the podium and to share your information you can share with the audience.
I think it's not so easy to understand what benefits do the presenter get from the presentation, because it's always challenging. It is hard. You should overcome your fear and you should find words, and you should be like, you should not be afraid of talking. So what do you think is?
I always tell to my residents that if after your presentation, you are really motivated, it's really like exchange of the energy with the audience. If you feel this, if you leave the conference hall yourself with a feeling that you want to do something new, to create the next presentation, to come to the stage once again, you should present, you should continue. Even if you made a lot of mistakes, if you have this internal feeling that like, I had a bad presentation, they always told me, oh, it was a mistake, it was really bad. But if they have a feeling that I want to present once again, it's really good.
So it looks like it's not about the topic of presentation. It's something about the person who presents.
Of course. So as I said, you have the something you want to share with the audience, something you want to share with your audience, and you think about your audience. So you're not writing the slides, you're not telling to yourself, interact with audience. It's important for you to share your information, to communicate with people. So this is the main clues for me. So if we haven't any questions, I will introduce the next speaker, Rostislav Pavlov. And it's a really, really great presentation, the topic about leadership in surgery. How do communication skills help us? It's a really outstanding topic that Rostislav will share with us, very important skills.
Thanks so much. 1 minute, please. I prepare some mistake for my presentation.
So guys, please ask questions. This is the very warm atmosphere here. Don't be shy. And of course, you can ask in Russian language too. We understand Russian.
Yeah, okay. Let's start. I don't see.
So please run the presentation and slides.
Okay. Dear audience, dear participants, I'm very like to be here, and for me it's very big honor to present my speech. Today we talk about the leadership in surgery and how to communication skill helped us. First of all, I would like to introduce myself briefly. I'm Rostislav Pavlov. I'm surgical oncologist, deputy director of medical chief at St. Petersburg State University Hospital. As well, I'm alumni in high school oncology, Skolkovo, and now I heart medical school student. And I also like to add that I'm on the Forbes 30 under 30 in healthcare list. Today we are going to talk about leadership in surgery and why we need it and what types of leadership exist. We'll also talk about how clear communication with patients and colleagues can help you to achieve your goals. First, let's have a look at the main difference between leaders and managers. Leaders have people who follow them, and while managers have people who work off them. Leaders not only inspire people around, but also a good leader for themselves first of all. And wellness managers are people who give direction to employees. A large range of different leadership styles are applicable in the workplace, have some of the most popular. Now let's talk a closer look at them. First of all, it's a boss leader. It's main popular leader in the Russian Federation. It's cursive. Is good in crisis, but doesn't stimulate invites. The second is pacemaker, are perfect when we need to meet the deadline, but not very good to creating a positive atmosphere in a team. The third is democratic leaders, a good listener, but it doesn't make that responsible, which sometimes can lead the communication failures and uncountable projects. As for affiliative leaders, they promote harmony among their fellows and help to solve any conflicts, but at the same time, it can reduce team productive levels. The leader is a coach, is a very good supportive type who creates a positive environment, stimulation, collaboration, and transparency. But this way of cooperation in teams is very time-consuming. When we talk about authoritative leadership, it works well for meeting urgent needs. It works best in emergencies that need a solution as soon as possible. This type of leader can make fast decisions, but it doesn't work properly when team members are more knowledgeable in some aspects. So we can conclude that a good leader nowadays is someone who could combine all leadership types and adapt their behavior according to the situation. It doesn't matter how good the leader is if there is no strategy. By saying this, I mean that every company must have a mission, which is organization character, identify and the reason for existence. Whereas the vision is an image of possible and desirable future state of the company. Strategy is an exact way from now to the future. Harvard Medical School also teach us to create a culturally include environment which require mutual respect, effective relationship, clear communication, explicit understanding about expectation, and critical self-reflection. In an inclusive environment, people can freely express who they are, their own opinions and points of view. And how to Garrett teach? 10% is the lectures. 20% is the facilitation, coaching, role and play, feedback, etc. And 17% is the action learning, real practice. Now, I would like to talk about how American surgeons study in residency. According to the Harvard University, research only 32% of their time they dedicate the practice surgical skills. 8% they spend of testing, and whereas 16% of their time they spend on learning non-technical skills. I'm sure you're asking yourself right now, how is it possible? And now we have a very interesting research. In this study, we can see that only 3% of adverse events dealing with bile duct injury in surgery happen because of technical skills problems. Whereas 97% of problems occur because of poor decision-making and lack of situation awareness. Let's look like in this book. Enhancing Surgery performed by Rona Flynn. It is highly recommended to any chief before they start to run the department. According to author, non-technical skills such as leadership, decision-making, situation awareness, communication, and teamwork are very important. I think you all agree that in the 21st century, communicating effectively is a key component of professional success. The better you understand your own personal communication style and how to impact others, and more likely your organization's strategic vision. Inspire high performance and cultural constructive working relationship based of truthfully interaction and listening. And now it's time to let the secret out. The only way to deliver idea is to speak. The good news is soft skills are digestible. And why the valuable skills are important? First of all, it's simplification, general contact plan. The second is the nice to look a good. The third skills is source of patience. It's very important to have patients who come from outside, because your patient, your money. Fourth, it's approaches are respected and the prevention of complaints. The crisis thing is form of positive emotion from the very beginning. That is why empathy is not just a 7-letter word. It is only an ability to understand and share the feelings of another person emotionally, but it's necessary part of any doctor-patient relationship, which creates an alliance between you and your patients. You do care from the very beginning. Just think, how do we remember the events? Yeah, who knows? How to create? Wish? Okay. Okay, sorry. Okay. Emotional context. I guess you all remember the Winter Olympic Games in Sochi. Who remember? Hands up. Okay. Raise your hands. And how many gold medals Russian teams got? Who remember? Okay. But you all remember that technical problems during the opening ceremony, when the last of the 5 rings make up the Olympic symbols and fail to open. Strong emotions are very remembered. Building good emotional context with people. It will help you to become person by look up to. And finally, I would like to say, if your action inspire others to dream more, learn more, and become more, you are true born leader. And dream big and never give up, guys. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Rostislav. I just remembered the famous quote that people do not remember what you said. They usually remember how you made them feel. It's all about that. Thank you. A great presentation about leadership. Actually, I like the topic of leadership very much, being a leader. There are a lot of questions about this. So if we have a question from the audience, please raise your hand. We have a microphones here.
Don't worry, guys.
Yeah.
It's
the topic of leadership is a really important one. I really think that there are leaders here in this conference hall.
Can I ask you a question?
Exactly.
What did you manage? How did you manage to be in Forbes list?
Excuse me, just 1 second. Katerina is the head of the endoscopic department. The topic is very important for her.
Okay.
So please, clues.
First of all, it's corruption.
Okay.
Yeah, but if we, when the Forbes send me a message, do you create some program for the residents? Because in my department, we have most girls in the department, and
Also of the
The
doctors are
highest
girls.
percentage of girls. Wow.
yeah. And for example, I have 10 residents, and 6 or 7 residents is girls.
So women in surgery is the session
Yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah. And the most of all, it's Instagram, self-creator, and so on. And I very like to present in some conference, and some my patients who create some posts on Instagram. They follow some in the Forbes follow for this patient and send me some message. And I consider that I create some communication skill school for beginner, create some portal Gastric Pro for patient with gastric cancer, because my chief and my teacher Andrew Pavlenko died for the gastric cancer, and when I and all the team watch what happened and how to after the operation period and follow up, they have some problems with nutrition, and I create some project with patient. And after that, Forbes sent me a message, and I said, okay, let's go, guys.
So now we know how to get the Forbes pages. So you need to be popular on Instagram and social medias.
Yeah, exactly.
Any other questions, guys? Yeah, please. Question for me? Question? First.
Oh, well, it's a very good question. I consider that in my department, when the resident come to our program for 2 years, we create some small program for communication skills. And for when they talk with the patient and have some problems with the communication, they came to a doctor and said how to create a good communication, and what I did maybe is not so good. And we create some role play. For example, I'm a patient and my resident is a doctor, and we can talk with the guys in the department, and all the participants say what they change and how to create a good communication. And now in our department, we have a specialist of psychology for the doctor and for the patient. Because I think it's burnout for the doctor is a very a big problem in Russian Federation. For example, in the Harvard University, we have this big lecture for the burnout. And when I talk with my colleagues from the United States and from Europe, for example, from the United States, they said we have a big department for the colleagues who can help the doctors. And for example, in Europe, they also had psychology in the specialist for the psychology in the department, and they said, and how to in Russian Federation? And I say, thank you for a question, good question, please next question. Well,
so it's a really important topic and important question, a really good one, because the topic of the burnout is a really important one, and burnout is not only in our country. I would say it's all over the world, and some things does not depend on the salary and on the money. So even the burnout is a important topic in the United States, for example. So or in Europe or in Asia, it's all over the world. So there are many problems with that. I think we would have a chance to discuss this topic in 2022 ENDOFEST. It's really important one. And when you said about the, like you play a role of the doctor or of a patient for your residents, I just think that it's my daily routine. I play a role of a patient for my resident each and every day. So I saw my students here, I don't know, Amina here or Lala, because they are trained with me. When they go to the patient to explain them the diagnosis, the results of the endoscopic investigations or the surgery, preparation for surgery, they usually first they tell to me how they will present it to the patient. We work on the words, on the information that they are going to transmit to the patient, and then they work on their mistakes, and only then they go to the patient and do that. It's a for mentors, it's a really daily routine actually.
And it's very important because if the mentor not engaged for the teaching the residents, we don't have a good result after the 2 years for the residents.
Yeah, and the problem that 2 years are really a short period for surgeons to train. So really you should start early from the medical school. So I have the students which go to the department following me, and we have a lot of training before residency actually.
Right
What
now,
do you,
sorry. Yeah.
what do you think on performing endoscopy on the mentor? Do you know our colleague who asks his students, his residents to perform colonoscopy on himself?
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
This is
No,
too deep.
I don't know.
think, yeah. We have an endoscopist in St. Petersburg who I know that some years ago he was practicing
Wow.
this thing
Impressive.
in
Impressive
in
actually.
his mentorship. So it's, you have no borders in being perfect.
So I hope that the senior doctor was just near when the resident was performing colonoscopy to his mentor.
Who knows?
Okay, then. So any questions to this presentation about leadership in surgery and communication skills? I think I can I have a lot of words or comments on this topic. I can speak endlessly on the mentorship and leadership, of course, being a leader in my department, for example, a lot of skills you have to be a leader, because if you want people to follow you, to respect you, it's really a lot of different tips and tricks you have to know. It's not easy.
Yeah, I think in your discussion, we start to discuss the next presentation.
Yeah, this is a good transition to the next presentation.
Yeah,
actually.
and I want to sum up our ideas about. I think in Russia we have the big problem about education of leadership skills. We don't have a special school or special course. It's only about your personal insight and the personal characteristic of the leader. And I think this is a really big problem. And what the path to decide this problem? What do you think?
So this is a really good question for me, because I wanted to introduce this session of the next ENDOFEST. It's going to be a mentoring session about mentoring and leadership for, not for the young doctors, of course, for the mentors. And we're going to train doctors, the senior doctors, to become mentors, because really it's a lot of skills they have to have. So yeah, it's going to be next year. The leadership and mentorship session. This one, educational one, of course, it's an annual session for the young doctors. So we will continue with it. And we're going to have the mentoring session next year, of course. All of you are invited.
Sounds
so
great. Yeah, I think
let's go to the next
level.
Yeah, let's go to the, because yes, we do not have any training for that. I wanted to introduce next speaker, Katerina Kolokolnikova. Please come up the stage.
Thank you
And
so much.
the topic is the burnout in medical profession, suffering in the silence. Hope we will know why in the silence.
Dear colleagues, it's a great honor for me to be to be part of this great event. So let me one more time thank the organizers for the opportunity to speak on such a crucial and pressing issue, a true reflection of today's reality. There is an invisible battle going on day by day between our quest for a fulfilling career in medicine and the hidden power of a phenomena called physician burnout. Wherever and whenever you have obtained your medical education, it didn't prepare you for these uncertain times. How can we define the burnout syndrome? There is no generally accepted definition due to its multifactorial origin and the subjectivity of diagnostic criteria. And a short definition sounds like a work-related stress syndrome resulting from chronic exposure to job stress. Therefore, it can occur in any profession. The most stressful professions have a high level of responsibility and a little control over the outcome. It sounds familiar, doesn't it? That's why the healthcare workers and especially perioperative clinicians seem to be at a particular risk for burnout. This is a tough job that saps our energy every single day. One of the first investigators of burnout syndrome, Katerina Kolokolnikova, has once said that it's an erosion of the soul caused by a deterioration of one's values, dignity, spirit, and will. What are we taught in Russia? It's okay to be good-looking, successful, well-organized, and always ready to work harder. You have to come to hospital a little earlier, to finish your work a little later, to make your long list done. And usually it's a shame to be vulnerable. Having doubts automatically makes you unprofessional and weak. Sometimes I think we wouldn't feel much difference if one day we would wake up in Sparta. And this picture is taken from the website that is dedicated to the prevention of burnout. And the author of this website says that we all struggle in an unfair play. If you're able to recover your drive and energy before return to work, great job. Let's make a small interaction. Please raise your hand if you think you don't have burnout syndrome and never had. Right. Actually, burnout syndrome has no zero state because it's impossible to go through a day of work without drawing from your energy resource, your mental and physical strength bank account. Physician burnout begins when you are not able to recharge your batteries fully between duties. That's the point where you begin a downward spiral that has three distinct symptoms: exhaustion, reduced performance, and depersonalization. Researchers are beginning to detect the differences in the way physician burnout occur in men and women. Women traditionally support others in numerous areas of life, at home and at work. That's why female doctors' burnout syndrome usually starts with emotional exhaustion. Depersonalization and cynicism are the display of a dysfunctional coping mechanism. It may feel better for an instant of time and yet does nothing to relieve with the feel of chronic exhaustion caused by physician burnout. Cynicism is especially difficult for women to keep up for a very long time before stage 3 kicks in. Men are more commonly starting physician burnout with depersonalization and cynicism. And the third stage of a man's pattern is significant for its absence, because male physicians are far less likely to feel that the symptoms of burnout affect the quality of the care they offer. So usually it allows them to continue the practice in denial of their distress, despite the exhaustion and cynicism their co-workers and patients witness on their job. they still feel they are good doctors. The list of likely causes of burnout is impressively long. I'd like to emphasize some of them, which are particularly important in our country. We are endlessly empathic. The previous presenter was telling you how important the empathy is in the relationship between the patient and doctor. But being endlessly empathic is really tiring. That's why burnout syndrome is also called a compassion fatigue, because being compassionate non-stop is really exhausting. In Russia, of course, low salaries is one of the leading reasons of burnout syndrome, as well as unrealistic deadlines. Ability to be independent in making job-related decisions is an essential part of doctors' healthy well-being. And before talking about the incidence of burnout syndrome, I'd like to give you some tips on what can be done if you diagnose yourself with burnout syndrome, or better, to prevent it. All you need is to keep the balance, the positive balance, of course, of your energy, consisting of three parts. The physical energy that lets you get up and go save lives. Emotional one that allows you to sympathize and be empathetic doctor. And spiritual. This is the type of energy that reminds you, why are you keep doing this complex job in such a challenging environment? So the first step is to accept that your state needs to be fixed. If you feel tired, just admit it, step back and take a breath. Make a plan how you can build the boundaries in your private and professional life, and stop ignoring your personal needs. All in all, you're the most important person in your life, so start talking about your feelings and you will be surprised how many caring and supportive colleagues you have around you. Let's go back to taking a breath. Believe it or not, breathing can heal, relieve pain and courage. And I want to show you a small breath technique that is called box breathing. We'll just try 2 cycles to pick up with it. All the steps are making to 4 count, and all you need is to sit straight, to inhale through your nose, then to make pause, then to exhale through your mouth and make a pause 1 more time. Then you just repeat the cycle for so many times. Is extremely high during all the educational steps in medical career. As you can see, up to half of students during any given time feel burnout syndrome symptoms. And 10 of them in medical school have suicidal ideations. Up to 75% of residents feel burned out at any given time. And this research was involving nearly every medical specialty. So approximately 1 out of 3 doctors are expecting physician burnout at any given time. And what is a little bit unexpected for me, that up to 70% of burnout colleagues are the youngest staff, those who are aged under 30. So no wonder this pathological state leads to have a personal and professional consequences. The first one includes substance abuse, which can be killing itself or leading to cardiovascular and hepatopancreatic dysfunction. And as a result, the incidence of divorces in doctors is quite high, unfortunately. And suicidal tendencies seem natural consequences of this pathway. Speaking about the professional field, burned out medical staff are less sensitive and empathetic. That leads to detachment and results in impaired quality of care and lower patient satisfaction, of course. As for medical errors, they are also most commonly occur in tired, depersonalized doctors. And in the United States, the estimated financial losses due to burnout syndrome are $5.6 billion per year. Of course, in Russia, figures are not available. The usual rule saying that the treatment should depend on severity of the symptoms is correct in this case also. Of course, severe cases of burnout syndrome should be treated with medicated help and psychotherapy. If the symptoms are minor, measures concentrating on relief from stressors, recuperation via relaxation and sport, and return to the reality in terms of abandoning the idea of perfection are helpful. This may include 5 strategies. The first one focuses on relationship. It refers to an understanding of importance of spending quality time with your family, friends, and significant others. The second element that seems to promote well-being to some people is religious belief or spiritual practice. The third element is dealing with your work attitudes. This has 2 components. The first one refers to finding meaning and fulfillment in work. And the second one is to actively diversifying and limiting the single type of medical practice, such as working part-time or being involved in some research or educational work, actively managing, scheduling, and discontinuing unfulfilling aspects of practice. The first strategy, as you can see, consists of self-care practices, which includes exercising, self-expressions activity, healthy eating and sleep, regular medical care, and professional counseling if needed. And finally, the 5th strategy is about adopting a specific life philosophy that is based on finding the balance between personal and professional life, the best cure from burnout syndrome. We all have to learn to be an eye of a storm. In any situation, to feel calm and confident, no matter what happens around you. Remember and remind yourself that we are extremely intelligent. We are the most quick learners among all professions. There are few other professions who are so hardworking, and we have each other, and we are respected in the community. Of course, we have our families and colleagues who are ready to support us and to be proud of us. And don't forget about your connection to why we are doctors, to our purpose. Remember, burnout can be dangerous if ignored, and you are the most important person in your life and in the life of the patients who come to you. That's why your well-being is of paramount importance to your patients. Thank you for your attention.
Very serious presentation, very important ones, really important words, which Katerina shared with us, with all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Please join us here.
Yeah.
And any comments?
Yeah, I have comments about recently, all we know, it's COVID time, it's pandemic time, it's new conditions for work. And of course, burnout syndrome is more relevant for us. It's, and I think all the researchers now could try to find the optimal, optimal way for prophylactic this syndrome. And I think everybody has special key how they protect from burnout. For example, it's maybe family, sport activities, it's maybe hobbies, and maybe nature. I think it's the best method for prophylactics. Yeah.
Great. And I have some questions for the presenters. Thank you so much. Your chief is very good department. And how to prevent in your team to burnout? Do you have some tips and tricks in your team? How to, your leader? Yeah. And how to prevent?
It's about how to be a leader.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, I try to communicate, and we have a really good tradition. We have only one actually room for the personnel at our department. That's why we are also communicating to each other, and we discuss a lot of things that are at the first vision are not so connected to our patients and to our work. So we discuss life itself, and we were discussing all the topics of my presentations. I will have one more tomorrow, which will tell about the functioning of your brain, which is really really catching. And I think talking about different things of your life and sharing it with your colleagues is really important, because it shows them, it shows to everybody that you are a person, a complex one, that you are not only a doctor, but as for me, I'm a mom of two boys, and I can play piano, I can walk long distances, and etc. And I think human face is a good prophylaxis, and discussing these things is really helpful. I hope so.
I want to comment too. A couple of years ago, I attended a surgical conference in the United States, and it was a beautiful presentation on a burnout there. They like to discuss this topic actually. So it was a beautiful presentation where they said that if you want to make a patient happy, you should be happy with yourself first. So it's a really good message for all doctors. If you are not happy, if you are in the stage of the burnout, you should do something with that first. And I usually say to my young colleagues or residents or students that before you go and save the world, you should save yourself first. So that's how it works. And talking about the burnout, this is a really serious and important topic. I hope that we will continue to discuss the topic during many medical conferences next year too. I would say that there are two most important things, like the tips and tricks or keys. Like the first thing is you need to, like a doctor, everyone, each of us should notice your feelings, how you feel with what you do. Are you okay with that? Do you feel happiness with your work? Are you tired? Are you, what feelings do you have when you are talking to your patients, to your colleagues, to your family? Because when you are angry, when you are sad, you should notice your feeling. That's the first part. And the second part, what can we do with that? Please know yourself. What helps you? It's physical training, like other guys said here, speakers. It's the communication with your family, with your children, with your husband or wife or your parents. It's your hobbies, like playing a piano or drawing or doing something else, which really come down and makes you happy. And please notice your feeling, know how to deal with this. And the third part is that the help or support of psychologists is okay for doctors. Please know that it's okay for doctors. When young doctors or students or residents text me on Instagram, or they ask in my department, my residents, for example, so I'm in a surgical profession and I cried yesterday. It's not okay. They think that the surgeons are some of the strong people that never cry.
Yeah, weakness
No,
is unaccepted. This is, I'm sorry to interrupt you. This is unaccepted. It's like being weak or vulnerable. It is not popular in our country, unfortunately.
So I usually say or answer them that it's okay to cry. Everyone cry, all the doctors and the surgeons and the meds and the experts cry when they lose their patient, when they have the problems with their life-work balance, and etc. It's okay to cry. It's okay to not to be okay. It's okay to have the support of psychologists. Everything is okay with that. It's not okay if you are not okay.
Yeah, you should put the oxygen mask on yourself first.
Of course, like in a
That's the
plane.
rule of life.
So perfect. Do you have any questions, guys, here about the burnout in the medical profession?
I have a question. Do you have a psychologist in your department?
So we do not have a psychologist in our center. In September, I took a part in the medical branch, and we discussed with the psychologist. It was the psychologist was there with her speech, and she actually shared an information about how they help the COVID hospitals. It's a hotline which works 24 hours, 6 days a week. It's a hotline for the doctors who work in the COVID departments. And she said that after I finished my call, I sit and cry on the floor after that. It's a psychologist. So just imagine how they feel and what they feel. So we do not have actually in a center, but I hope that maybe 50 years later, 10 years later, doctors will watch our recorded session and will say, wow, how did they work without psychologists?
Yeah, psychologist is very important. I have in my department some experience for 2 months, and all the doctors said me that it's not very important. Why do you take the psychologist in our department? And after that, they have 2 sessions for all the doctors. All the doctors has 2 sessions with the psychologist, and after that, I get the feedback, and all the guys said, "Wow, it's amazing! Wow,
it really helps."
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember maybe some of you watch the Grey's Anatomy. One of the sessions of the Grey's Anatomy, it was about the doctor-patient psychologist communication. When they married Grey, the actor, she lost her patient. The chief of the department said 10 sessions with psychologists, and then you go back to the surgeries. That's how it works.
Yeah, yeah. In the Europe and the United States, all the problems, complication after some procedure, all the doctor has a session with psychologist.
Because of stress.
Yeah. And in the Russian Federation, the main psychologist is the head of department, and they always said, "Hell, what they happened? Come to me, and I have some time
and bring your salary."
Yeah.
So Rostislav had a question. The first
it's not
question
about
to
us, guys.
So your first question to Katerina was about how you deal with your doctors.
Yeah.
So I want to comment on this. I wanted to say that every doctor should notice his feeling, but the leader should notice all the feelings of his doctors. And when I see some of my doctors, when they are tired, when I see that on the face, I say, so tomorrow you will have the day off. I don't want to see you tomorrow here. And that's how it works too.
It's amazing option.
Because when you have this right atmosphere in your department, this positive atmosphere, the first thing the chief of the department, the leader should know is the helping each other in this community, in the department. If someone is absent, so another one will do his work. So I always say, like, all the patients are others' patients. Yeah. Okay, then so
agree.
let's go to the last presentation. Yeah. Rimma Bolotova, please come up on the stage. And it's a really, really nice presentation about the mentoring. Who is a mentor and the role of the mentoring in surgery, please.
Give me a minute, and now you can do breath exercise from previous speech. Breathe.
Train with the box breathing.
Actually, I wanted to add that there is a prevalence of doctors. There were like, of course, I've read a lot of research works on my topic, and I was really surprised that salary is not the best motivation. And the main thing is that in the US, like more than 70% of doctors would refuse $20,000 per year to work less, to have part-time work. And this was really interesting.
Exactly. When I had a fellowship program in US, I saw that. So a half a day or 2 or 3 times a week, not everything depends on the money.
Yes.
Actually, yes. So we'll give a word to Rimma. She's ready.
Okay, thank you so much. And breathe. I want to say, don't be shy, don't be humble. I invite you to a dialogue. And first of all, I'm deeply honored to be invited to speak here and to visit with you all today. And thank you very much for letting me come and share some thoughts with you. And I welcome some thoughts and ideas from you, and some questions as well. And I would like to thank the Seda for making this speech possible and for letting me be part of this outstanding festival. And so let's speak about mentoring in surgery. First of all, I'm introducing myself. I'm Rimma Bolotova, and I'm an interventional radiologist who works in Moscow Institute of Oncology named Gertsen. I'm a researcher and a teacher, and of course, I get that I am not a professor who has many mentees and many residents and a rich experience of mentoring in surgery, but this problem about mentoring really relevant for me, because I was looking for a role model at the beginning of my career, and right now I'm still in search of him or her, my mentor. And meanwhile, I have become a mentor myself. Mentor, who is it? Mentor is a wise and trusted advisor. And what's the difference between teacher and mentor? A teacher is someone who is teaching you from principles which based on people's principles. Think about your school teacher, for example, who teaching from a textbook is mostly about theories or principles or different case studies. And I give you one bonus, it's a coach. Coach is someone who holds you accountable. For example, Michael Jordan has a coach, and this fact doesn't mean their coach could perform better and play better than Michael Jordan. Of course, a coach job is simply to point out their mistakes, to push you beyond your limits. And who is a mentor? A mentor, on the other hand, is someone who has been there and done that, who has produced the result that you want. Mentor has walked the path. She's done it, or he's done it. And speaking about experience. And the pivotal characteristic of a mentor, I think, is someone who wants to help bring out the best in people. Why do I need a mentor? Ask themselves. Because we all make mistakes. Because we don't have all information. We're not a Google. I and unique nuances of the works and the connections that mentors can give you. A meaningful mentor-mentee relationship is of paramount importance for the career progression of both sides, for the mentors and the mentee. In this side, you have some benefits that have mentors in these relationships. Of course, this opportunity to better understand their competencies. It's works of self-esteem. Sometimes we talked about imposter syndrome. I think you know about it. And of course, you develop your leadership skills, your social significance. What the benefits and profits has mentee? Of course, it's a new knowledge. It's a new opportunity to develop your level and often unique approach to the process. It's a fresh point of view from your mentor. It's feedback, and of course, it's the great importance is networking. And the key factors for fruitful cooperation on the part of the mentor is the desire to share your experience. And from mentee is motivation to engage in his own development. So mentoring in surgery, what is it? It's really just about everything we do every day in our career. We need some mentoring, whatever it's a clinical part, it's service part, research or education part. There is a lot of overlap among these areas. And please don't forget about personal side, one of the impactful mentorships. Don't ignore this side of yourself. I identify all articles discussing mentorship in surgery between January 1985 and August 2020 using PubMed, you see. And I found an interesting study that includes a result of the survey of the Association of the Surgeons in the UK. And this include 565 fully completed responses from doctors. And we see the results. Less than half of surgical trainers identified mentors. This is in the UK. I think in Russia we have a badly situation. We got that the total. Do we have red line? No. No. Okay. Okay. To sum up this slide, I want to say the model duration of mentoring relationships was 1 or 2 years. Most often they meet from time to time, not regular base. And ideally, trainers would prefer face-to-face mentoring through the email or telephone. And this bar chart shows us the strongly positive vibe from mentoring in career progression and working progression of the mentee, also clinical skills and confidence. And this is a summary of a recommendation for the future surgical mentoring schemes based on the finding of this study. The mentor should be chosen by the trainee, work in the same region and specialty as the mentee, be approachable and accessible, take an interest in the trainee. Ideally, mentoring meetings should be face-to-face. And how to choose a mentor? Much of it is serendipity. And sometimes it's a segment, sometimes it's a role model. But a role model, we tend to think as a people who are set up on a pedestal and what you really want to someone who approachable, who are accessible, who you can to talk or text or call. And so how do you find somebody like that? It's simple, the ask. Well, don't come into somebody's office and go with ask, will you be my mentor? Don't do this. You would it's better if you ask, I need some help with it. I need some help with my paper, science paper, with work. I need some advice on some corrections. And can you help me to design some study or clinical trials? If you make a good connections, it's the first step. And you go back at the next time with another question and another questions, and to develop your relationships. And to remember, that especially for surgeons, asking for assistance is very challenging. But, and it is absolutely honor, and it's very hard to anybody to say no, just somebody who is asking about help. And recently, I became a mentor within the framework of Broad Global Community. It's in World Health Organization, a special program for talented young medical students. And now I work with 4 mentees from Tomsk, Irkutsk, and Moscow. And we develop their professional skills or prepare to conference. And one of them is here, and she works as a volunteer. Yeah. In this QR code, I create a starter pack with brochures for mentoring. Follow this QR code. You can navigate to camera. It's you can see free documents in my Google desk. And I want to finalize. Look for a mentor that demonstrate wisdom in case selection and patient management. And I can't underscore the importance of professionalism in demonstrating compassion, empathy for patients and their families. It's equally essential to show respect for your nurses, tech colleagues, residents, and students. And finally, I believe a good mentor also humanizes him or herself to their mentees. And don't forget about work and life balance. It's important, particularly so today. A good mentor will model this and show the importance of the family or other activities outside of operation room. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, my contacts. Yeah.
So much, Rimma. Beautiful presentation and speech. So guys, do you have questions or comments?
Yeah, I have some comments. I consider that Instagram is a very good to find the mentor.
It's a very good platform.
Yeah, a very good platform, because some of participants who stay in this section sit and write the message. Yeah, from Perm or Penza, they send me a message from. Yes, he texted me a message in direct, and came for 3 weeks or 1 month. Yeah, and come for our team, and yeah, and conduct some operation.
That's great. Yeah, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I participated in a panel discussion about the medical education. And one of the surgeons, he said that just text to expert surgeon that you want to come. They love to teach.
Yeah.
Just text message, and that's all. Maybe yes, maybe no. I don't.
This is how it starts, actually. Yeah, with a message. Thank you so much. Any other questions from the audience?
To say thank you for the excellent reports and interesting discussion. I missed my English class today, but I have no regrets at all.
Perfect.
Equal English lesson.
It's better.
Sorry.
Rimma, I have a question for you. How often do you think the mentor should communicate to his mentee not to lose the productivity of the relationship between them?
I think it's organic process, because both sides of this process has benefits, has profits. I said it in my previous slides. I think it's not a rule. I need mentees now.
I guess there is no timing for that. So
Yeah,
like
maybe.
if you need my help, I'm always here. And usually mentor, they control their mentees. Yeah, how they develop their career. It's not about teaching the surgical skills, for example, only. It's about how to build a career, how to become a good doctor, not only a surgeon with surgical skills.
Maybe person,
Yeah,
sometimes.
agree?
Yeah. And my colleagues yesterday asked me about, do you see the tendency in Instagram that we have a rise of number of women, of girls who search role model? Why this happened? He asked me. Why? Or maybe I on the wrong way. And we discussed about it. And I said, really, I think it's good remark. Yeah, you agree with this? No?
So you should invite him to come to the tomorrow session.
Okay.
To have the answers to this question. Yes, of course, because I think the reason is that there's a tendency of women to become surgeons. It's like in progression. Each and every year we have more girls residents in the surgical departments. That's why the search of the role models is high up. Of course, because they need someone, they need to see someone who can be a role for them or a mentor for them. I think the problem with the mentors is that no one teach how to teach. This is a problem because there was no one who teach me how to teach, actually. It was my own path, my own mistakes, my own experience. Yes, I just have maybe a senior doctors, which I noticed their work, how they work. I noticed their mistakes, maybe my own mistakes, but it was a really tough and long path to become a mentor. No training for this. In our country, no, I think even in other countries all over the world, it's a problem too.
Yeah. In other countries, for example, in my program, it's a surgical leadership program for Harvard University. For example, if we start the chief of department, you need to 2 years get a program for the leadership, how to teach, how to get good feedback, and all of them, because it's very important. And we always need to implement all your knowledge, all the books of the leadership, and all the types of the leadership. And it's a very good, fruitful session, I think.
And one more comment. I wanted to share with you the information about one thing. I'm a member of the Association of the Women Surgeons in the United States. And there is such a beautiful thing there, like each and every year they have kind of a match with the mentors and mentees. So during 1 month, it's August usually, you send the application form as a mentor or a mentee, and they match these applications, and so the mentees can find the mentors for them on the specialty or a profession. Or like Rimma said, if you want to do a medical research or something like this, they find a mentor who work in the scientific hospitals, like which are do the scientific works or researches. So I think it's a beautiful opportunity for mentees to find their mentor too.
Now I have 2 mentors from United States and from South Korea. And recently, I think, why I don't have Russian mentor? Why? And now I start to work with Professor Ryabov, and he's really my role model, but not in the abdominal interventional radiology, but like a person who the leader, who is a great professional in their specialty, with authority and respect from other.
That's a cool comment, Rimma, because I want to say that there is no person you can repeat the path. You can be just a better version of yourself tomorrow or in a year. And there is a temptation to become someone you really like, you really love as a role model. But you should be aware of this, because the only thing you can do is to listen yourself and to find your features that makes you a unique doctor, as we all are talking about medicine here. So this is a good example, Rimma, when you find something in someone who is not in your specialty. That's great.
I'm still in search.
You're still in search. Okay, good luck with this. So thank you so much, everyone who were participating in this question. Do we have any other questions on any of these 4 presentations we had today? Yes, please.
I'd like to ask all of you, what do you think about the importance of social networks for doctors nowadays? And if it makes sense, how to combine the social networks and the real works?
Can I start?
Of course.
Yeah.
Please.
Because social network is very important for me. And for example, when I start my residence to program in the surgery, I ask that all of you need to social network. You need to create some context, and you need to create some the good. You need to translate difficult issues for another person, because all the doctors need the patients. If you work in the main hospital and you have a marshrutisация, you don't need to get the patients. But if you work in the hospital who didn't eat, you need to patients, and all this social network, all the Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and for example, TikTok. It's a very good platform to create a good situation for this for you, because your next chief ask you a question: do you have some Instagram or social network?
Do you have your personal brand?
Yeah, personal brand is very important nowadays.
Yes, a lot of actually meetings are about the personal brand. Today is actually could be then one of the topics for next year. Actually, yeah, I think it's a popular question. So what do you think, Rimma?
First of all, decide the aim of your personal social media. What is it? Is a way to search the patient, or this is way for networking, or this is way for your personal life? Decide this. For me, it's the second path. It's my networking platform to communicate and collaborate with other doctors from all around the world. And the result of this work, I participant of international survey from international radiologists in Colorado. He just texted me, do you want? Of course I want. I just translate this survey on Russian, and now Russian is a part of this international response about surgery and interventional radiology and skills of general surgery in our specialty. And of course, it's a great platform to search your mentor, to search your role model. For me, this is the main aim, because I have passion.
When we're talking about the social network, I would like to give an example of the social network on the SLS Society. It's a society of laparoscopic surgeons in United States. And they have like on the website, they have a kind of a map with the appointed doctors on the different countries who are the members of the society. So if you go to Russia, you can find me with all my profile in Moscow. So if you are in Moscow right now, you have any problems with your health and you need a help, you just text a doctor who is a member of this society. It's a beautiful opportunity of getting an information quickly, to have the support, to have a help, and of course for network.
I wanted to say that it's a powerful source, but everything is okay that helps you to develop your skills. And it's okay to develop with the book, and it's okay to communicate to a mentor who lives in another place of you, and in another part of the world. So everything is fine if it helps you to step forward.
And I have a question. Do you have a page in social media? It's professional or personal?
My own page, but it's only my personal page.
It's my personal one. Okay.
It's never late
to have a professional one. Okay, then. So I think we have 5-10 minutes to conclude our session. I will give a word to Katerina first.
Oh. Well, actually, I feel a little frustrated because of my presentation and burning and rising lights from there.
Breathing will help you.
But as for me, this is a cool thing that even being a speaker at a session, you may learn a lot from other people, from other speakers, and even from the audience. And the communication is really probably the key of success in medicine. And the teamwork is really powerful. And of course, everyone is bright in its way. But when we combine, our strength is much more powerful. That's great. And thank you again for making me part of this event. That was my dream, actually, because 4 years ago, I had my first kid, and of course, I felt like a little bit detached from the medical society. And Seda's page, well, it provoked my interest, and it kept me alive with my medical interest. So this is really a significant moment for me. So thank you so much.
Wow, perfect, great. I know Katerina have 2 children, yeah?
2 kids,
yeah. 2 kids, that's beautiful.
Like Novoseltsev,
and
a boy and one more.
She's a chief of endoscopic department. She's a leader, and it's of course a role model for many people. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Rimma, please, your conclusion of this session.
Today, I think, was a historical moment because I feel like a fish in the water, and I'm really happy inside because we speak on English, we think on English. This is really a new level of for young generation. And don't be shy, Leila. You know English more better than me. Discuss with us. We invite you to a dialogue. I think this is next level of our session. And thank you so much for your time today. And I'm so grateful, Seda, for this great organization, and for my colleagues. It was really interesting discussing about actual and relevant theme. And thank you.
And we have a WhatsApp group on educational session. We can continue that.
Yeah.
Okay, Rostislav, please, my co-director of this session.
Thank you all the participants. Thank you, my colleagues. Thank you, Seda. It's a very fruitful, powerful section. And the last I say that see one, do one, and teach one. And all of you can all of them. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I will say my conclusion words, and then you can go to other sessions. So we have time for that. So we are in timing, actually. We have volunteers here, which actually should show us the timing, 5 minutes, 1 minute. Where's this marks? Yeah. And I never during the session saw 5 or 1 minute, which means that we are in timing. Yeah, we are in timing. That's great. We are really cool. So I want to thank my co-director Rostislav, who agreed to participate in this educational session, who came from St. Petersburg. He is a very busy person from Forbes page. And really, it's a great honor for me that we had you here.
Why is he wearing a wrong badge? I'm so sorry
I don't
to
know.
ask.
Why wrong? He's a program director.
Okay, but
That's
why?
the right one.
I think his name is Pavel.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yes.
goodness. It's a wrong name.
Disclosure.
So
For me, it's not
yeah.
problem.
I can be a Pavel, but still I'm me. Okay. So thank you. I want to thank my other speakers of this session, Katerina Kolokolnikova and Rimma Bolotova, who are actually the speakers of tomorrow's session, Women in Surgery. And it's really great that all of us today had this beautiful communication with our audience. And I want to thank all the participants of this session that you came here today and spent time here with us, improving your skills on different topics which were presented today, like the presentation and skills, the leadership in surgery, communication skills, burnout in medical profession, and the topic of the mentoring in medical profession and in surgery. These were really important topics to discuss. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your interaction with us, for this warm atmosphere we had today. I wish everyone good luck. I wish you to improve yourself in absolutely different ways, in absolutely different roles in your life and in your career, because all of us have different roles. We are moms and fathers, and we are mentors, and we are the students for someone. So good luck to you. Improve yourself every day. And of course, whatever you do, do it well. Thank you, and see you tomorrow.
And I'm sorry, we need to thank one more person, I think. Lila, who is not here, she was helping to translate this session. So thank you for your brilliant
Lila,
job.
if you can come up here on the scene, please. We want to see you, want to thank you, and thank you for the beautiful medical English morning session, which I'm sure improved someone's English who came to the second part. Please,
thank you.
Lila.
Thank you so much.
Lila is an English mentor. We should give her a word.
Thank you so much, but please, can I say in Russian? No, it's too much English in my mind, my poor brain. Yeah, thanks a lot. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm so happy to be here because, I'm not a doctor. My first education is economy, and I'm economist. Yeah, really, I'm a very good economist, but now, thanks God, I'm a translator. I'm a mentor, English mentor, and I'm very happy to be here, to stand here with these brilliant speakers. It was amazing to translate. It was so cool. At first, I was scared because it's my first experience at the big conference like that.
So how was it?
Like that. Sorry for my emotion.
So actually, I want to share with you a text, or it was a voice message, or it was a text. I text Lily in September. This year in September, and I offer her to be a translator. It's actually about the simultaneous translation during this educational session. And I remember her answer. It was a voice message, like it was,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sometimes I think I said like, to Seda at all my answers to her. But I'm so happy really to be here, to be with you. And thank you very much for all your presentations, for all your speeches, because when I saw them the first time, it was amazing. And really, I was scared that maybe it won't be possible for me to translate it so brilliant as you really want to say. But now I'm happy that I could do it, yeah! And every one of you, do your best with ENDOFEST, like me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. Thanks, everyone. Good luck to you.